Okay, welcome to the Frame Trap Podcast. I'm your host, Bounty, aka Bryce, with my co-host Doppio here. Today we are going to be talking about a lot of things, especially something made out of cardboard. Because that's our main topic today, is that Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel came out, and the entire FGC is retired now. We're all just Yu-Gi-Oh! Players. We have dedicated our lives to losing on turn one. And that's our goal. So
You guys thought you had the most powerful cards in your deck, but I had the most powerful one of all. My credit card.
my credit card. That's right. That's exactly right.
That
But
was like
other
a
than
tweet.
Master Duel, what have you done this week?
Nothing much. I'm just chilling. I'm happy to be here. I've been really actually hyped up to do Frame Trap this week because it's been pretty cool. We had Conway on last week, and we went a little bit long because we had just a lot of shit to talk about. But this week I think we're like good on top. We have a lot of topics or a few topics, but I think things to talk about for a while. I think it's just gonna be pretty chill. Yeah, Master Duel is, dude. I've been the fucking day we uploaded that. Not the day we uploaded, the day we went live, right? And we talked to Conway. That night at 12 p.m. I went to sleep, because I had a date, like the day after that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna sleep early, and then I'm gonna be like responsible, right? I slept. I went to bed. Someone DMs me, hey, you have to like. Master Duel's
Wake
live
up.
right
Wake up,
now.
get up.
Wake up. Master Duel's live right now, dog.
They literally, like, Keanu Reeves, like, Cyberpunk 2077, they were like, wake the fuck up, samurai. We got duels to play.
We got duels to fight, yeah. So, I wake up, I get out of bed, I'm like, fuck it. I mean, this is Yu-Gi-Oh! I have to do this. So, for context, for those of you guys that don't know, I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitively since early 2016, like since January 2016, going on. Holy shit! Tomorrow is actually my 6-year anniversary playing Yu-Gi-Oh!
Damn.
I remember to the day, because it was on the 26th. It was on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Or no, I might have been a Saturday that year. But either way, I remember it to the day because it was on a Yu-Gi-Oh! Day that I went and played my first tournament. And so yeah, like 6 years I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And I've wanted, ever since I started playing, I wanted like an official online simulator because the solutions we have, while serviceable, right, are not best. I think I talked to Bryce about this a lot so Dueling Book is like the main thing that people use now, and it's like good if you're trying to practice competitively because you have to like manually do everything. But for like a casual person trying to get into Yu-Gi-Oh, it's very hard to recommend because you need to know everything. You can't just like go on there and like just immediately start playing games because it's not intuitive. And for YGO, like the YGO like YGO Omega and like all those other like sites that are like automated, right? I mean, Omega's fine, but there's like a lot of other solutions that are like just not, like they just don't cut it at all. So it's very hard for people to get into it through those programs. Whether it's like just that there's like a bunch of different versions, they don't really know what to download, or they're on Mac, or there's like a bunch of different things. So I'm really happy with. I was really hoping that like this version of Master Duel, this automated version of Yu-Gi-Oh! That Konami was putting out would be good. But as we talked about last week, I had my reservations because fucking Konami.
Same here. Yeah, Konami's like not that great at making these programs. Like they tried before, like a long time ago, and it was like a paid service, remember? And then like it was just bad. It was like mostly played through like the text, and you had to like type out your moves. It was awful.
Jesus. You had to play a fucking tabletop RPG just to play Yu-Gi-Oh? That's amazing.
Yeah, it was awful. And then that's when like Dueling Network came on the scene, well, aka Dueling Book. But and then everybody's transitioned to that. But then eventually YGO Pro came out, and I played when YGO Pro. That was when I went hard. Like I played Dueling Book, and I was like, this is fun, but I hate arguing with people about the rules. Even though I'll link them like the wiki for like the rule of the rule that we're talking about, and they'll still argue with me. And then I'll call a judge, and they never show up, and it's like, okay. Well then, I guess, so then I started playing YGO Pro, and that's an automatic dueler, so it'll just follow the rules always. So, and I went hard on that. Like, you can actually look on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/BountyXHunted, and you can find duels of me playing people on YGO Pro. And it was incredible because it was, like, so quick. It was like, you could get through a duel in 2 minutes. It was awesome. So I was not expecting Master Duel to live up to those expectations of YGO Pro. But I think we're both in agreement in saying that it did live up
Yeah.
to expectations. We have gripes, but it lived up to like probably like 80% of our expectations.
Yeah, I mean, when I booted it up, I actually cried. Like, I was like so happy just to see it. Like, I hadn't even played it yet, and it was
Mm-hmm.
incredible. But once you get over that like initial hump of like, oh, like this game is awesome. It's finally an official Yu-Gi-Oh simulator, right? There's like a tutorial mode, which is really good. Because like very similar to what a lot of people say about fighting games. People have this idea that like Yu-Gi-Oh is like this incredibly difficult game that has like a bunch of really extraneous things. And like, yeah, like big picture, it's a very complex game, but it's not hard to learn at a fundamental level because you can understand the rules. Like that's why the rule books are like little tiny pieces of paper. You can read those and then perfectly understand how to play against anybody. It's just about like, if you want to put in more time, you can like delve a lot deeper into it. And so I always said like you could very easily tutorialize this game and have it appeal to a mass market, which is what they did. That's a really good thing. And I was really scared because I have someone who's seen the rise of Duel Links and people playing Duel Links. And Duel Links is a great game, but I'm not trying to spend $300 to like open packs to like pray to get a deck that I can play. I just don't want to do that. It's not, and I think most Yu-Gi-Oh players aren't really interested in that, as well as the fact that it's just a different game, fundamentally different experience. But with Master Duel, like I booted it up, and 2 hours after playing it, I had literally the exact same deck that I'm playing like right now competitively, or I was playing for 2 years, like perfectly standard legal, and I could play people, and it was one of the best decks in the format, like easily, right? It still is. That fact alone floored me. But like the fact that you can just do that, you can do that with almost any deck, right? If you just put the time in and grind a little bit, do your dailies, you can get like you can build a completely competitive ready deck and like a tournament ready deck in like a matter of a couple hours. It's ridiculous. I expected to have to grind it or put a ton of time in or maybe have to spend some money, but and I was hoping for something maybe a little bit better than like or like a little bit worse than Hearthstone. Because I'm like, oh, Hearthstone did a pretty good job back in the day, and I think if you did a system similar, it'd be fine. No, this shit is like ridiculous. Magic players are fucking complaining about how OD our system. When we get Magic players to complain about how good Yu-Gi-Oh is, that they fucking hit it out the park.
Yeah, like I'm in the, like not like the same boat, but like I came in and was like, oh, they gave me a starter deck with like dragon cards, and I was like, okay, well I'm not expecting to have enough resources to like pivot to like something else, So I started building out the dragon deck, right? And so slowly I started building up, but then I suddenly realized that like, no, they're just giving me the resources, right? They're giving me just so many resources. So then right then and there, I was like, I'm just gonna make the deck that I'm more familiar with. So then I pivoted to building spell books, which is like, so like I committed a lot of resources to building out that dragon deck, and then I was still able to like nearly complete my spell books like after 2 days of playing. Mind you, I did stay up all night like for 8 hours like when it came out, just grinding the game. But the main point is that like they're super generous. Like when they want you to play this game, they're going to give you the resources to play this game, and they're going to allow you to like play it how you want. That's my biggest factor, is that they allow you to play it how you want. Like, because if you go to the edit deck section, it's straight up just the same thing as YGO Pro's UI. It's like literally almost one-to-one. The only features that they're missing is that you can't sort by specifics. Like, you can't sort by just spells, and you can't sort by just monsters, and you can't sort by just traps. But other than that, like, it's literally one-to-one. You just click on the buttons. There's a Hearthstone style of system where, like, if you have extras, you can dismantle them, and then you use those resources to make new ones. But instead of having one resource, you have 4 for each rarity. And then they have gems where you open packs, and you get tons of gems. Like, if you log in like once a day, I think and you play like 4 or 5 matches, you'll be able to open up 10 packs. Like, yeah. Easy.
Every day, if you play every day games ranked, you'll be able to open up 10 packs. It's not even a question.
Mm-hmm. And then like, my only gripe so far with the system is the secret pack system. I know you don't mind it, but I'm kind of like on the fence about it, just because like I don't like the idea that I have to open packs to open the pack that I want. I just wish there was more of a way that like I can just look at the packs. And for those who don't know, the secret packs are special packs that are only available for about 12 hours after you've opened a bunch of packs. Because you'll open up packs, and then each card has a chance to give you a pack. So
Give me 1 sec, Bryce. Actually, hold up.
okay.
Yeah, sorry. I can keep speaking though. Go ahead.
But other than that, like the dueling is okay. It's serviceable. My only gripe with the dueling is that it's too slow, right?
Yeah, like
There's lots of animations that are a little bit annoying to deal with. Like the summoning animations especially take very long. Whenever you interact with your opponent, it's very slow. Like you can hit no and you're still waiting like 3 minutes
yeah,
or something like
I
that.
think well, I mean the animations are really beautiful. Like they did a really good job. Like the game just presentation wise, like absolutely fucking floored.
Yeah,
Like again,
yeah,
like
agreed.
actual tears. It was incredible. But
We're
yeah,
just nerds that have like played these games for a very long time. So the minute we see like, oh, he's summoning his blue eyes, like we don't really care about those things. And like, I wish there was an option to just like shut it all off.
yeah.
You know?
We're like I mean shutting off the animation. Yeah, I think the issue is more that like it creates a desync. Like so, it might be a problem. Like because if you're skipping through a lot of stuff and your opponent's letting it rock, then it might at certain points might take longer or less long. But like you're not playing a fighting game. You can wait like 5 minutes if you need to for like like a response point or something. But anyway, it's gonna take a while. The animations are a little bit of a problem. I think you could maybe speed them up a little bit, especially if you've seen them. But overall, I think yeah, like what you said about the dismantling, like the card system, incredible, like really, really, really good. And what's even better is like in Hearthstone, they had a system where like you can have classic cards, so like those cards can be used, and you can have generic cards, so you can use them in any deck. But generally, you're not gonna have like a lot of cards that you can swap like deck to deck. There's a lot of character-specific cards. Thanks to the beauty of like Yu-Gi-Oh just being like a game where you can put anything with anything and it works. You can focus on crafting these like very good generic cards that you can like put in anything. And if you have 3 of those ultra rares, you just have them for your life, and you can put them in anything, and you can play that deck. It's genius. It's like a really, really good way of sort of like that's kind of one of the benefits of Yu-Gi-Oh in person as well. Like it's a lot of people think of it as a very pricey game, but building any deck core costs less than $100. It's just that staples cost a lot of money. But if you buy staples, you can put them in any deck for like the next couple years, and you have them there. So like having that sort of like luxury of being able to do that is really, really nice in Master Duel. And like yeah, again, like if you just play a couple games on ranked every day and you like log in, you can open a pack. I actually, you were saying about the secret pack system as well. I really like the secret packs because there's not really a very clean solution of like, oh, like we need to get every single card in this game right now. How are we gonna do it? Right? Like there's very few ways they could have done that like well, and I think that the way that they did it was good. The only issue is that it should not be temporary. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. Like,
like that's the reason why I'm on the fence about it. I like it because it makes it very easy. This is actually how I got my spellbooks deck very easy, is because of the secret pack system. Because each secret pack is a separate archetype for those who don't know. And so like I could, for the spellbooks, they have their own archetype secret pack, right? So I just spent like a lot of gems just buying those secret packs, and then all of a sudden I have a spellbook deck. And like each archetype in the game has like these secret packs, right? So when you unlock one, you're like, yes, I can finally build X deck, right? Because you have the secret pack and it makes it so much easier. But again, it's temporary. Like my biggest solution would probably be like make it like a longer time frame, because currently it's 12 hours, right?
Or 24 hours.
Yeah, it's 24 hours. So I think like they should make it like 5 days, 7 days. Like
Yeah.
5 days, I feel like it's a solid amount of time to build whatever deck with a secret pack, right? But
I mean,
again,
granted, you could do your dailies. Like, I think the intention is that, like, oh, I do my dailies. I like crap because the way you unlock secret packs is either, like Bryce said, you either open the master pack, which is every single card in the game, and you pull an ultra rare or a secret rare from the archetype you want, or you craft a secret rare or an ultra rare from that archetype, and then it gives you the pack, right? So I guess the intention was just so that you sort of like, if you want to build a deck, you grind a bunch, you save up some currency, you like craft one of the cards that you need, secret rare or ultra rare, and then you open a ton of packs, right? And then you can like piece the deck together, and then if you want to add more stuff from later on, you have to craft again, right? I guess it incentivizes just like going ham initially. I don't really get the point of it. It seems ridiculous, right? Because like, why not just give the player the secret pack? It's not like they're spending any less money or time. It doesn't really affect anything. It just makes it. I guess it makes them play a little bit longer, which like I guess for like what is it like maybe for like playtime or player retention, right? They kind of want that, but it's like an insignificant thing. I just think it would be a lot more convenient.
My thing is that like if you're already doing the dailies, right, and you already have a daily system, and the daily system is already really rewarding, as we've both seen, I feel like they don't really need the secret pack system, you know, because it's like you already have these login incentives to come in, and you already have like all these resources, so it's like just make the secret pack system less restrictive, you know.
Yeah, same here. Like I agree with you. Or they could have just had separate sets and like you just pick from those sets and it's like a broader range. But they wouldn't have been able to do it as specifically as they did. Like you can literally get a pack that's just all spellbook cards. It's like, okay, well shit, like I'm just opening spellbook cards now. And it's convenient too because like you're not opening a bunch of bulk commons that you never need. Like you're just getting commons that you need for cards, right? And even if you pull some cards that you don't need, you can always disenchant them. Who cares?
Yeah,
Right?
that's the other thing. Like even while you're like building your deck, like because you're opening up these specific secret packs with like 10 cards of like whatever archetype you want, you'll get a lot of repeats. But every time you get a repeat, you're like, yes, I got more materials. Hell yeah, you know.
Or you get the chance of pulling the shiny like the holographic cards.
Yeah, the
Which is
whole. Dude, I hope that they make like the holographic cards look a little nicer because the only ones that look really nice are like the really holographic ones, you know. But the other ones are like, who cares?
Yeah,
It's
the
like,
silver border ones are like whatever.
yeah, like the in Hearthstone you got the gold cards and those are like hella cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, they're like hella cool. And then like in I think Shadowverse they have like a similar holographic system. I just think like just make the holos look a little nicer, please. Just please. I just want to look cool.
I think the super rare hollows, you're right. Like they look like the DT foiling, but they're like blue. It's so sick. But
yeah, it is cool.
yeah, like
What,
if you oh, go
what
ahead.
what they could do is like do what Pokemon does with they're not like total super rare ones where like instead of having like the card be foiled, they let like the card text have like
Oh,
a
the reverse
symbol.
foil. Yeah.
Yeah, the reverse foil. Yeah, they could do reverse foil on it. I think that would work.
I mean, I think overall, like what's the also another thing that I'm really happy about is that like even if you like the one reason that I would spend money or that I think anyone would spend money on the game would be if you want to build everything or if you just want to like go ham and build like a ton of different decks, right? Which I think actually is genius. Like if you want to whale and you're the type of person that's like I love Yu-Gi-Oh, I want to put like money down and I want to try to like make these decks, right? Like dude, that's genius. Like because then you have a large variety of decks play. You're always able to like mix and match cards as I said before, and it's just really fun. Like you can just take your pick, which is cool. That should be the way that it should be. If you want to get more out of the game, you should put money down. But like if you don't want to and you can't do that, that's fine. You can just play the game. And yeah, and judging by the player numbers too, like if we're gonna bring that up, that shit was crazy.
Isn't it like 200K players a day?
Peak players was 400. Let me check. My friend sent me a like a tweet, which was it was so funny because the it was just the Steam charts of Master Duel. Yeah, so peak players 262K and playing 4 minutes ago at the time of the tweet, which was like a couple days after the game launched, 242,000. So not only were people
the player retention is like crazy high.
Yeah, and I think it's still like that. I mean, I can check it right now actually. But like, what's insane is, and the text on the tweet was like, y'all can read fucking 5 paragraphs of card text, can't do a quarter circle. What the fuck? And, which is pretty OD. But like it's kind of insane how like even now, I mean, it's down to like 139,000, but like it's been going up and down. Like this isn't peak. These aren't peak hours. This is like a minute ago. Right? And it's still at 139,000, which is like ridiculous. I mean, for some streaming users, you might be like, oh well, like however many millions of people are playing Dota or TF2 or whatever, right? But like, this is a fucking Yu-Gi-Oh game, modern Yu-Gi-Oh game. Like,
if I could equate it to something, it's like when Accent Core got rollback.
Oh, how many players got there?
It got like 400%. like of what it usually got. But it's kind of like that, but for Yu-Gi-Oh, where like Master Duel comes out and like the numbers just explode for some reason because they finally came out with like a good Yu-Gi-Oh program. You know, there's also another feature we haven't talked about, the public decks feature.
Oh,
So
as a competitive player, I don't deal with the commoners. All right, you guys
the
can build your decks
commoners.
however you like.
The
All right, but I know what the
commoners.
fuck. I know my ratios. Have you ever opened a hypergeometric calculator to figure out what fucking ratios you need in your Yu-Gi-Oh deck? No, don't speak with me, dude. I fucking know what I'm.
The
But
deck
no, it's a good
ratios.
system. You
I
know
used
what
to do the deck ratios too back in the day. Oh my god.
It's actually the most fun part of Yu-Gi-Oh. Like one of the most fun.
Oh
parts.
yeah, the most fun part. I used to make fun of my friend from New Zealand for doing that shit.
Well, like fucking laughing out like what the optimal
Yeah.
like math is on your fucking
Yeah,
ratio.
let me check how many max C I can put in this deck. Draw 5. Does it again. Does it again.
It's
So fucking stupid. But
yeah,
like
yeah, go ahead. You're gonna talk about it.
But like the public decks are like a little like interesting because like it's one of the first times I've seen one of these like card game programs like actually openly like say we like net decking. Please net deck your deck. And
Yeah.
like literally every time you hit edit deck, there's like you can see it like public decks and like you can just select from a selection of public decks. And I haven't touched it because I myself don't like net decking. But I don't know if you have. Are there filter options on it?
On public decks, yeah, you can search for like specific. It's kind of wonky because I think it's not picked by like the cards in the deck. It's picked by like the card on the front, which is really stupid. It's a little bit weird. Like I'm not also familiar super with like the details of it, but for someone who's like new to the game and you want to kind of get an understanding
This
of like
is exactly what
how
I'm
do people
talking
build
about, yeah.
this, it's great. Like for me as a player, like for you, it's probably not like you don't want a net deck, so you don't care, right? And for me, I either get my ratios from like videos I've seen or like I've played competitively enough where I like kind of just know like you played this ratio of this, right? But for someone who's like just getting into the game, it's so much more streamlined because for me, if you're playing in person Yu-Gi-Oh, you have to dig through forums and YouTube videos, and you have to have your friends send you what they fucking find, and it's
The
all
YouTube
over.
videos are the worst because like sometimes they'll be like the best ones are always the ones that have like 480p cameras and it's like their cellular device and like they put down their cards and they're still in their sleeves so the light is like reflecting off the cards so you can't even read what cards they are. You just have to like replay like what did he say that card was? Oh, what was that? 3 of them?
Dude,
Two?
there was a my favorite deck profile ever is a Dragon Ball Super card game deck profile of this man innovated the best fucking deck in the entire format. Like after he made that video, like nobody watched it, but like afterwards, that video got like the deck that he was playing was basically the best deck in the game, and it ran like an entire format basically.
Yeah.
And he was like one of the first few people like on the edge of that. And his video was like a camera pointed diagonally down at a spell ground, and every single card was fucking glaring. And he's talking about like, yeah, I couldn't make it to the event, but whatever. And you can like barely fucking see the cards, and he's like stacking them on top of it. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, you have the best deck
Oh my
ever.
god.
Like, this deck profile is incredible, but like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? It was good though. Like, I think YouTube videos are a pain. Also, because language barrier, so that can always be an issue. Of like just I want to see this deck profile like that's a topping list, but this guy's he's a European guy or like he might be speaking a different language. It's hard for me to find through YouTube or forums and stuff like that. So yeah, it's like really interesting to have that system in the game, whereas like other games would kind of shun that. Like it's great. I'm really happy that they have it in place for the people that want that, and even for the people that don't, it doesn't really get in the way. So like, not a big deal.
Let's talk about ranked.
Yeah. Well, I think if we want to talk about
clown fiesta? Is it a clown fiesta?
if we want to talk about ranked, we have to. I think we should bring up the flaws. At least I should probably talk about my gripes with the game because ranked in a lot of ways kind of is like it's a great like the system they have. I mean, just having ranked Yu-Gi-Oh! Period is great. Like on
but this isn't ranked. It's fake. It's fake. It's not
He's not
ranked.
wrong. But like That doesn't stop all my coworkers at my locals telling me that
Yo,
if
I'm
you're not
diamond.
I don't want to listen to your deck advice.
Yeah.
You're trash.
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck out of here,
it
bro.
doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter. Like I am currently gold 4, and I probably have like a 35-40% win rate, just because like I'm not net decking and I'm not following the meta, so I go against a lot of meta decks. So I really struggle against the meta decks. So I have like a 35 to 45% win rate, and because when you lose on ranked, you don't lose MMR, you don't lose anything, nothing. Like you don't lose anything. It's like your rank is just based on how well you can grind. And that's how I got to gold 4, is because like I did that in one night, like 8 hours of grinding, getting the gold. I could have gotten farther if I had a better like a meta deck, but I didn't want to play a meta deck. But so like it's just fake ranked because everybody can make it to diamond if you just play enough.
Yeah. It's like from what I recall, it's like the old Street Fighter 3 Online edition, like where it doesn't like the leaderboard is just how many games you've won. It's not how many games you've like. It's not your win ratio or none of that has anything. So the rank is fake, that's kind of a problem. But honestly, I don't really care.
It is and isn't. The best thing about it is that it pools your player base, because everybody has to play ranked to do matchmaking, right?
Yeah.
So
or you can do lobbies. But
yeah, but I don't think a lot of people are doing lobbies. I think they're mostly just doing ranked, right?
Yeah,
so
it's like, unless you want to play against your friends, you do lobbies or host tournaments, which is cool. But yeah, like most people are on ranked.
So it's like it pools your player base, but the thing is that like I don't know whose idea was it at the executive team to like, hey, let's call it ranked, even though it's not ranked.
I mean, I guess maybe it's that whole like accessibility thing, and we don't want people to feel bad about themselves. But my thing is that's not honestly my biggest gripe. I have two problems. So
you're gonna mention one of the ones I have a problem with. I know.
Yeah, this is the main one because we both have a problem with it. Fucking best of one in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Best of one is Yu-Gi-Oh is crazy. Like in competitive play, there are things called a side deck. Okay, and a side deck is about 15 cards that you put up and say like I'm going to rearrange swap cards out depending on the matchup, right?
Yeah.
And that's why you play a 1st to 2, because then if you lose the first one, you can say, oh, I can adapt. Let me just rearrange things. And then, like, your opponent has counterplay, too, because they can rearrange things, too.
Yeah, like, I can speak to this a lot, because side decking is a very, very, very important part of competitive play. It's maybe the most, like, one of the most important skills and one of the hardest things to learn ever, like, in any game I've ever played. It's, like, very difficult, because it's something you can learn until you're, like, the best player in the world, and you're still improving. Because there's a lot of complicated shit that goes into math, and also just understanding
the draw ratios, and like you can fuck yourself over when you put in things that are supposed to help you.
Yeah, but it's also just about like you have to know what you're playing against, and that can also change event to event. So like you have to be constantly keeping up with shit in order to build a very good relevant side deck. In a lot of competitive in a lot of competitive videos and stuff like that, like the importance of that and the importance of even playing a 2 out of 3 is that there's a lot of dynamic things that go into siding. So understanding what you're taking out, what you're putting in, understanding why you're taking it out, against what matchups you're taking what out and putting what in, and then making those choices before the event, because ideally, yeah, you'd want a side deck that's infinitely long so you could cover every single matchup, but it's only 15 cards. So you need to choose those 15 cards as wisely as you can. All of that shit just goes out the fucking window because fuck that. Dude, we're playing best of one Yu-Gi-Oh! Did you lose the die roll? Did you not draw a hand trap? You're getting FPK'd, son.
My worst fear when I go into ranked on Master Duel is like turn 1, I see Cyber Dragon. I'm always so scared of like Cyber Dragon OTKs. Like literally anytime I see a OTK deck, I'm like, I can't even be mad because he's just playing the meta, dog. He's just playing it. You know?
Yu-Gi-Oh! OTK?
I'm in his world. I'm just living in it.
He's the main character?
Yeah, he's the main character. The minute I see Cyber Dragon, I'm like, ah, shit. He's got the crazy Yu-Gi-Oh! Hair on. He's got the Millennium Puzzle.
For when you play against the Cyber Dragon deck, do they just drop a bunch of big boys in the game? Yeah. So what's even worse than that is there are decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! So in order to attack in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like you can't attack on your first turn. So you need to play your first turn out, and then on your second or third turn, you can attack. Every turn subsequently, you can attack, right? But in Yu-Gi-Oh, you can't attack on the first turn. But there are decks that can do effect damage. So forget what like Bryce is talking about Cyber Dragon.
I fought one of these. I fought one of these decks that did like 500 damage per like each effect activated, and I was like, how is this going to end my life? It's only 500.
Yeah, he just
they do it. They do it. They do it.
Yeah. That's bad. But imagine you play against the deck where like, oh, I just didn't draw cards to like interact on my opponent's turn going first. Oh, okay, he just like normal summons a bunch of cards and then burns me for 8,000 on my first. Like that exists. My friend was literally playing that in rated, so I'm like, bro, like what the fuck? You're playing best of one for fucking Yu-Gi-Oh? Why? I wanted to punch Kazuki Takahashi in the fucking face, bro. I was like, dude, what is wrong with you? You sick fucks in Konami are gonna make
dude, he's a sadist for sure. He probably has like, you know, like Kaiba when he's like sitting in front of like all of his like computers and screens. That's Kazuki Takahashi watching everybody get OTK'd. He literally has every screen, and he's just like, glorious.
I have something that fits.
Glorious revolution of my mankind.
Oh my god, hold up. I have to get something from my bag, because dude, this shit is like, it's so spot on. Because honestly, like, I think the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, even in a 2 out of 3 format, people describe Yu-Gi-Oh as a volatile game, and I agree with them. Yu-Gi-Oh
it is, yeah.
The fucking Kusoge trash of
winning a round depends on if you drew that Ash Blossom on your first hand.
I mean, yeah, but it's also more of like shit. You can just draw the most weird shit in Yu-Gi-Oh, and you have to just play through it, right? And that's part of the competitiveness of the game. But like, this is fucking Kazuki Takahashi and the entire Konami staff just sitting in the boardroom watching everybody play best of ones for like fucking like actual rated, or well, you know, no, I guess that's why we don't have rated, because nobody wanted to play fucking actual ranked and best of one. But yeah, it's even in fighting games, like this comes up from time to time, right? Like, you want to be playing as many games as you can, right? Yeah. And ideally, in a perfect world, every tournament would be 3 out of 5, first to 5, first to 10, whatever, right? But like, realistically, that's just not possible. We can't do that, right? So, you know, in Yu-Gi-Oh events and a lot of fighting events, we have 2 out of 3, right? But best of one is universally dog shit. You just can't do that. It's not
universally dog shit. I could go to Jupiter and say, hey man, you ever hear about Yu-Gi-Oh first of one on Master Duel? They'd like talk to me in a weird language. They'd be like, blah, 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 blah. But my universal translator would be like, yo, that's fucking dog shit meta. Don't ever play that shit.
I'm sticking to the Jupiter meta.
Yeah. He's like, yo, we play first to 3 because time works weird on Jupiter. They play first to 10.
They get a first to 10 done in 40 minutes. The fucking legend. No, but like that's the main thing. But I think that's something that I'm not sure if it'll change. But I have a feeling that maybe it might. The only issue is just that, like, yeah, if you do a first to 3 format or first to 2 format in ranked, it's gonna take 40 minutes per game, and I don't know if a lot of people want to sit through that. I would be down for it, and I think a lot of other people who play it competitively and like are a little bit more serious about it would want to. But you know, it's kind of a push and pull, because a lot of online card games aren't free. They're just best to play it, right? So it's kind of up in the air at that point. It's just up to whatever. I'm sure they probably are talking, right? And they're probably discussing what would be best. But regardless of that, I think I can live with that long term. The only other thing that I have an issue with is the OCG. Yeah. Well, it's more that like it's not necessarily that the OCG is like the OCG. So to give context, OCG means the Japanese format, TCG means the English format. When we play Yu-Gi-Oh in America, we play with the TCG format. So our ban list, like what cards are banned and limited and put to 2, are different. What cards are like in the format itself, like what sets have been released, are different. So all of that changes from America to like East Asia. So East Asia is completely different. In Japan, they play. What's up? Yeah. Sort of, but it's also a lot different because they like, even if they get sets sooner, the sets that they get are different. It's not the same sets. So like we're in a very different format. It's just that like our cards come out first in their format. Usually, sometimes we get exclusives, and then they come out in our in our format. So then it's like you're trying to see like, okay, well, like you can look at the OCG meta ahead of time and be like, oh, these guys are playing this. Maybe it might be relevant here. But you can make super stable conclusions. Like I've made that mistake before, where like the OCG isn't a super good predictor of like what's going to be good in the TCG. Regardless of all that, the main issue with Master Duel is that it's just the OCG form. So a lot of the ways that people have been playing Yu-Gi-Oh in America, it's not the same list. You're playing with the Japanese ban list, and then you're also a couple sets behind. So we don't have any of the Burst of Destiny cards. We don't have any of the what's the other set? Dawn of Majesty. The future set that's coming out this Wednesday is Grand Creators. So tomorrow, when you're seeing this live, that set is gonna be like coming out, and that's not gonna be on Master. Those for now. I mean, obviously they're probably gonna release them down the line, but as of the given moment, like as of the current moment, we don't have those sets out. So it's a little bit of a different format, and playing Yu-Gi-Oh on Master Duel is very different than playing it in. Right, you're gonna see quite a few different decks, and the metagame is just different right there. But I, as someone who has been playing TCG for a while, is actually quite refreshing because there's a lot of things that they have in the OCG that we just don't fucking have here. Like they have Electromite, they have Thunder Dragon Colossus, they have a lot of really, really powerful cards that are very integral to their archetypes that we just don't have here. And they also have a lot of really powerful hand traps. They have Maxi at 3, they have limited, what is it? Cyframe Gear Gamma, like a lot of different cards that make it so that it's like interesting as a TCG player to like play a different format. And I don't know, what are your thoughts on this? I don't know if you... I like kind of disagree, but I get what you mean. Like it would be a lot more like convenient because if there's a huge surplus of people, like we can both agree, there's a huge surplus of people who have not played Yu-Gi-Oh in like years playing this game. So if they like play this and want to convert into going to their locals, supporting their stores and stuff like that, which is awesome, and you guys should do that if you're playing Master. Like please, like local game stores, especially during COVID times, we're having it rough. And now that some stores have opened up for locals again, obviously be careful and like take the necessary precautions. But if you can go and support them or at least buy some cards and stuff, feel free to do so. It's a little bit weird, obviously, because if you go there and you're playing a completely different list than what's legal in the TCG, it's gonna be very weird. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but the only issue is just that they have a different card pool over there. So a lot of cards that like get banned are more relevant in their format than they are here. For instance, Crossout Designator is a card that came out in Japan for like a year before it, right? And that card was running the fucking. That card was in every single deck, like without fail. But when it came out in TCG, we were all hyped up for it. It was like $100 a copy, $115 a copy, and then it came out, and it's like $30 because nobody plays it. Like it's played in some very rogue competitive, like some not rogue, but it's played in like some competitive decks. Like you can play it, but it's not like meta defining anyway because most of the competitive decks don't need to play the card. It's kind of gimmicking in a lot of ways, and so they're like, oh, we'd rather just play a more streamlined build. If you ban that card, if you put that card to 2 in the TCG, right, it would be ridiculous. It wouldn't make any sense. But if you put that card to 2 in the OCG, or if you put that card to 3 in the OCG, right, if you kept it the way it is in the TCG, it would be broken. Like you'd be like, okay, well everyone's just playing this dumb. And Crossout Designator fundamentally isn't a broken card, but let's say we had another broken, right? And in one format it's crazy meta defining, the other one it's not really. It would feel ridiculous as a player of that deck to be like, why is this card getting? It's not even right. And so then it would be very catered. Like you'd have to cater to one format or the other. That's kind of how it was in the early days. Like back when Yu-Gi-Oh in like, I think it was 2000, 2004 to like 2006, 2008, something like that. When Upper Deck was still running the game, um, the ban list was universal for a. And then you know the card Cyberstein? Yeah, Cyberstein came out as a Shonen Jump prize card, and that card broke the fucking game wide open. And Upper Deck was like, "Fuck this." Oh really? Oh yeah, FTK combo. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, Cyberstein was also around for like, I mean, it's been in the game since like 2006. And in Japan, it was also way more fucking broken. But um, because you would make a Cyber End Dragon and you'd equip a Metamorph and then swing for. But the card itself was like fundamentally broken in America. So Upper Deck was like, "Fuck you," and just immediately released this thing called the emergency ban list, which happens very infrequently. And they were like, "We're banning this card. We cards on the." And Japan didn't do that. So at that point, the list split off, and what was like we had different ban lists, America and Japan. And even when Konami took over from Upper Deck, like in the American markets and the European market, uh, still a completely different list because they understood that like the formats are fundamentally different. When you release cards in one format and you release them at a different time in another format or in different quantities or whatever, it's going to be a different format. You're going to need two different, right? So I think from like as a competitive player, yeah, I think they should keep the lists separate. But I can also understand that like from a more like to like try to make sure that it's universalized, it should be kind of like they should be the same, right? If you want to have people coming in from one format to the other, it should be like fundamentally the same format. I think the way you get around that is you just make two formats in Master. Yeah, I mean, the way there's also more talk about like other formats as well because in Yu-Gi-Oh we play other formats like kind of similar to Magic, but it's a little bit different in the sense that in Magic you have formats defined by let's say you want to play Standard, okay, you're playing the past like X amount of sets from X amount of years. If you want to play Modern, you're playing everything from this point forward. If you want to play Vintage or Legacy, you're playing everything, right? Or like there's formats like Pauper where you're just playing commons, right? Shit like that. In Yu-Gi-Oh, we define our formats by like the like ban list of that period. So, for instance, in if we want to play what we commonly refer to as GOAT format, right? 2006. Yeah, we would define it as the ban list of I believe it's like October 2006, and then the last set was Dark Beginnings. That everything from before that is legal, right? And so a lot of people are talking about, hey, we should try to implement this, right? And I think it would be really cool. It might confuse some newer players, which is a concern I'm sure they have, right? Like, Konami just recently, like I'm talking in the past like 2 months, has finally like officially recognized legacy formats. Like they had not done that before. Legacy tournaments were all like kind of under the like yeah underground, kind of like PM actually, but like they didn't get like DMCA'd for no fucking reason. So I guess, but that was like some shit that the old like you know when you go to like the park and there's like the old guys playing like backgammon, chess and shit. Like when you go to a Yu-Gi-Oh local, you'd have like all the fucking Zoomers playing like actual proper Yu-Gi-Oh, and then you have the two fucking guys in the back like, hey, you want to put $5 on a goat game? And like slap it on the fucking table. That kind of shit, right? So now it's finally like an official tournament format. So local stores and stuff can organize with it and stuff like that. And there's actually a ton of different legacies that people have been wanting to play. There's a couple called like Edison and Netcross format and like just a bunch of legacy formats that people really enjoy. So that I think going down the line, like they should definitely implement that. But first things first, you definitely need a TCG. I think either that or you try to cooperate, like incorporate the lists, like put them together in the actual game. And I feel like out of those two options, the best option is right. And make sure that you're clear about hey, When you're building a deck, you can build it for either TCG or OCG. Pick one, and then you can play that rank. That'd be tight, yeah. How many people are filthy fucking cheaters, and how many people are from Brooklyn? Yeah, I I think I think honestly, you're on the right track. Like they should implement a lot more because as someone who's like, I mean, I grew up with Yu-Gi-Oh as well, right? But I'm more of a youngin, so like I'm not super dedicated to it, and I watched it when I was super young. And I'm not really big into. So I think it would be cool for all those people because the Yu-Gi-Oh anime following is really big. I think appealing to those people and giving them stuff that they want to do is super tight. That's kind of what they did with Legacy of the Duelist. But even in Legacy of the Duelist, they had other formats and stuff like that. The two things I would really want are some sort of draft format. Because draft formats in any game. Yeah. Like yeah. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't know the name. Oh, you mean Nibiru? Oh yeah, The Rock. Yeah, that shit would be. Oh, Gajimatsu. Yeah. Yeah, and the benefit of a draft in Yu-Gi-Oh, because I've played a lot of people in Yu-Gi-Oh do cubes. Cubes are pretty fun. And for my time cubing, it's a lot slower of a format, but it's also a lot more deliberate, and there's a lot of like really complex stuff that goes into actually playing a draft. The only issue is, I mean, obviously you're not in person, and doing drafts in person is fun, but the way that Hearthstone Arena does it, like the Hearthstone does their arena mode, is like incredible. And I think if you did something very similar to that with like a pack system, kind of like how you do a cube, top notch. Like yeah, like it'd be great. It would be awesome. And like you said, there'd be so many crazy, stupid fucking combinations to be doing. Yeah, it would be dope as hell. I think that would be great. And like kind of segmenting, like kind of like aside to that, you could do like a draft, like a battle pack form, because the only official draft that Yu-Gi-Oh has ever had, other than like people just doing cubes on their own, is the battle pack. You would buy like a box, and you would come with like a set of battle packs, and you would open them up, and then you would like draft from them, and you would play. I played a tournament for battle pack. It's incredibly fun. Battle Pack, I think it's Battle Pack 3, is like far and away the most incredible format for drafting. And it's really, really dynamic and really fun. I think if they implemented that in some way, that would be a cool draft format. But I also think they could do it like the way that Arena does it, and it'd be great too. Yeah, like I said, more anime related formats as well, and maybe like some people were recommending like maybe some PVE game modes and things like that. I think. Oh, for real? Oh, they do. Yeah, like the story. That those are cool too. I think they could use like a little bit more polish, like some voice acting, or maybe some like more dynamic cutscenes. What is yours? Yeah, they, Yeah. I think the customizability too could use a little bit just because like I mean that goes into more like the sort of aesthetics of it like the buddies they're cool like they're really cool because you can click on them but some of them are a little bit like the car and the ball or like and then yeah and the BFEs are cool too. I really like the time thief one everyone's and like those are cool but again like it could use with a little bit more depth. I think that's something that they'll definitely add down the line but like Bryce said yeah an announcer pack. Sweet Jesus, that shit would be OD. Yeah, yeah. I for me it's like the main character Yu-Gi-Oh's Exel. Like I don't play the Utopia deck even though it's my favorite deck because it's like I wanted to build like a good meta relevant deck and that deck is kind of like whatever, right? But like, dude, oh my, if I could like summon Utopia and like he does like the shining draw and he goes, "I'll high five the sky," I'll lose my shit. Like I'll buy it immediately. I'll spend as much fucking money as you need me to, bro. I don't care. Dude, you do the thing to draw and it's like, oh boy, you're getting fucked today. Yeah, it kind of it's like a little bit slow. I mean it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's like, dude, come on, you could like we're not in the year 2006. Like we're not trying to play fucking WoW on dial up. This shouldn't be this bad. Like we can come on. And it's not on either. I mean it's on console, but it's not on mobile. Yeah. Well, because I think they're also planning on releasing it on mobile, which like they already have it on Switch with like a touch screen. You can use the touchscreen on Switch. The perfect fucking word game. Yeah. It's normally not that long. Like when you're in person, like yeah, it could. The longest I've ever seen someone take on a turn is like 10 minutes. But like that's if they're like literally playing like actually slow as fuck. And it's like a really long combo deck. Like most decks should not be taking like but playing Master Duel, you're like, oh, okay, I guess I'm watching this for 10 fucking minutes now. Because they have to play the link animation, normal summon, and click five things. Yeah. I think they should do it like Hearthstone where you can like queue up moves. Because that speeds it up a lot. Like in Hearthstone, if you know you have 5 mana and you have a card that's a 2 cost and a card that's a 3 cost, and the card that's a 2 cost has like an effect that activates when you play it, you can go swipe the 2 cost, swipe the 3 cost, and it'll play the 2 cost, do the effect, and then you don't even have to click anything, and it'll play the 3 cost right after. That's like genius. Like you should just be able to queue up moves so that it just does it automatically. And if your opponent responds to it, it's like okay, whatever. Because like yeah, if your opponent's gonna be able to respond to it, Or maybe I exploded. Oh, you're back? No, you're good. You're good. You're good. It was only for like a few seconds, so you're fine. Uh, so what you're saying? It's delay based netcode. Don't tell the fighting. Yeah, dude. See, FGC loves Yu-Gi-Oh Masters, but if you tell them it's delay, though honestly, I don't think you could put rollback in Yu-Gi-Oh. It wouldn't work on a card game because yeah, because it doesn't matter, like fundamentally. Yeah. Though yeah. The problem is more that like in Yu-Gi-Oh you have a lot of interaction and like a lot of times you don't know if it's not like Hearthstone where like oh I have a well in Hearthstone it's like um in certain games you'll have it on the board like if you have an interaction right like a negate or something like that like on the field but in Yu-Gi-Oh you have stuff in your hand and then your opponent's not gonna know that you do unless it like you know like they have to do it so that's why they can't like I think that they're more apprehensive about queuing up multiple moves but like it's something I feel like they could implement in a way that's like pretty seamless, and it wouldn't be a super big. Um, I think overall, like if I were to summarize my thoughts on it, like is there anything else you wanted to comment on it before, kind of like closing on it? Well, yeah, I was gonna say. I know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you're not a hardcore boomer. I've seen some shit in my day, so like you're good. But like yeah, you're right. It's pretty fucking like I'm amazed. Like, okay, as a guy who's like been into niche shit like kind of most of his life, right? Like in terms of like games and stuff like that. It is like incredible to me. Like the one game that I love more than like anything I've ever played in my life, or at least defines like a big part of my life, right? I never expected. Like I genuinely never expected. I expected it to be like maybe like a flash in the pan kind of thing where a couple people played it and it was like kind of hot shit for like maybe a couple days and then people went back to doing their thing and like we just use it to practice competitively or like get ready for regionals and now. But like it's ridiculous. Like the impact that Master Duel has had, not just on like we meme about the FGC or whatever, like them retiring, but like on gaming culture as a whole is like it's fucking shocking. Like it's actually ridiculous. These proxies. That's a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Yeah. Honestly, I was telling Bryce about this, and when he saw the tweets, he believed me after a while. Yu-Gi-Oh players don't fucking read their cards. It never. I was I That's fucking amazing. Holy shit. They just don't read the skills. They're just like, I'm supposed to mash Q, E, and R, and like, you know what's funny? The day before Master Duel came out, I showed you and Conway and Bash a Blackwing combo, and you were all so fucking confused. You were like, "What?" Well, you followed him, yeah, but like Conway was like, "What the fuck is going on? What is happening on my stream?" It doesn't. That's what's great about it. I fucking love Yu-Gi-Oh. But yeah, I the fact that that happened, and you're just like, yeah, fuck Blackwings, and I'm like, me, I'm, I'm Blackwing. Yeah, dude, it's high. But we are talking about Master. This shit's. I'm like, yeah. I mean, honestly, there's like a ton of memes and stuff going around on Twitter. But yeah, just the significance to me as a person is like very powerful. And it's like a very powerful thing. And like I didn't really get it until I talked to you about it, and I talked to other people, like a couple other people that like I know from like other stuff, and they're playing Yu-Gi-Oh. And dude, it's like it's great. Like I'm over the moon about it because the more exposure we get to games in general, not just like not just Master Duel, not just Yu-Gi-Oh, right? But like this kind of gives the precedent of like any game, as complicated as it may seem or as like esoteric and weird. Like if you make a good product and you teach people how to play your game, and there are people that want to play your game, they will learn and they will get better. Fucking learn fighting games, please. For the love of Christ. Rev 3. When? Yeah. Speaking of Rev 3, yeah. Happy birthdays in chat for. But yeah, I mean, I also, Bryce. I mean, we talked about this, but I don't think Bedman is getting announced. He's getting announced. Arxis, Arxis would never fail to acknowledge. Yeah, for real though is coming out this weekend. Everybody keep tune in, tune in to watch Bedman get revealed. Let me check it out. Hold up. Let me pull up. I actually have to pull up the fucking. Still scrolling through. There's so many fucking games. Oh man. How do you check the brackets for these? Are you looking at Rev? You're looking at Rev 2, right? Okay. Yeah. So honestly, I don't know. How do you want to? Do we just look at like top 8 or top 24? For sure. Um. Okay. So Pool A1, and then how do you show predictions on? Okay. So A1, you got like Lost Soul. Oh, Cephalopod. The Bedman player. Huh. Wait, is Kizzer Kizzy K, or is that a different person? Oh. Ah. So yeah, I mean this pool seems kind of stuff. I know Cephalopod from she hosts Sleepy Gear. But I don't know, and I know Lost Soul, but other than that, I'm not familiar with it. Oh, Simo from thing, SoCal. He's a Milia player. So yeah, this is pretty hype actually. This pool actually looks pretty cool because I know some of these people. It says Hellsap. True. Oh, Brendan's in this pool? Bruh, that's OD. Yo, do we gotta play the clip? Yeah, I believe in my boy, so I think he's my legal defense today, and best Dizzy player on rank on rank, best Dizzy player on ranked in Rev 2. So I think I think Brendan's gonna make it. Honestly, I think he'll do quite fine. I'm looking forward to like hearing about him do well. I don't know. I mean, this is a really fucking stacked pool, as I'm sure all of these Rev 2 pools will probably. Really? I mean, yeah. I mean, I know the thing is, I know some like Lost Soul's a fucking killer. I know Andy's pretty good. I know Simo's kind of crazy. Like, there's a lot of players here that are like pretty good. It's just about like I guess on the day who's better. But yeah, definitely Lost Soul's making it out of this. Like, I think we can both agree on that for sure. I think the rest is kind of up in the, but like, there's definitely some like some people that we can like. I know Andy and Kizzer Crate and Cephalopod will probably do pretty well. And then there's some underdogs that I think like potentially shake things. But yeah, then pool A2, right? Yo, Joel, bad guy? Oh, who's Mr. K? Oh, I've heard of him. I've heard of him. Yeah, he's one of the premier Leos in America, right? Yeah. Um, that is. Wait, that's in this pool? Wait, is he Aetherbeat or? Oh shit! Why is he? Why is he not like placed up higher on the seed though? That's really weird. I feel like I feel like adapt will do pretty well. I have faith in my boys. I think adapt will fucking kill it. Um, yeah. I I think I guess Young Trap Lord is the wild card. He makes or breaks this fucking bracket for that. Do you have any fucking idea who that is though? Like for real? Is that just the is that Kid Viper's alt? Could you fucking imagine? Oh man. I think it's gonna be that, but I believe him. I believe in my friends. Yo, pool B1 though. The first man. I know Aoi is cracked. Super Raptor is a fucking hero. He's a hero of the West Coast, and if y'all know about him, if you know him on Twitch or you know him in yeah, that man's a fucking hero. That man took Fuda like last game. That man is a legend. I respect that guy. Uh, who's really broken on this? What was it this year? Combo Breaker? Like online? I mean, yeah. Who does he play? Oh, yeah, free. That was fine. But who's boxing? What the fuck? Uh, he's from California. That's why we don't see California. No, but yeah, I mean, who's Black Snake? I've never heard of Black Snake. Yeah, he's like your grandpa. Oh, so he's like a really old school Venom player. Wait, this man is like a. You know that what's the fucking thing? He's like so enlightened. He like deleted his Twitter. He like never made a Twitter. He didn't delete his Twitter. He never made a Twitter. That's how fucking big brain he is. Yeah. Uh, who's is Aoi good? I've heard things about that. And then yeah, I think Super Raptor. I think the like the low key, not the boss, but like I think Super Raptor will probably do pretty well. That man when he's on his game is like fucking nasty. Yeah, I'd say Dark Horse is super. I mean, he's also from SoCal, so like, but like respect that man. I think he'll do good. I think he'll do solid because he every time we had Rev Tuesdays, Mans would run it, and he do really really well, like consistently. So he's like quite an active net player. I don't know how he's been doing recently, but I know for a fact he's like. So that's one thing, and then let's go to B2. Oh fuck! I don't know if this is a death pool, but I see Vero. I see Pat the Flip. Man. Oh, for real? Oh, yeah. So Vero's in this one. Pat the Flip's in this one. Uh, Gumi, the designer of the Goomway. Fuck. Uh, um, X Black Feather Shadow Dewberry. The guy who's like seated to win this is a man known as the Arm. Oh, I've heard of him. Isn't he? Oh, yeah, I've heard of him. Um, wait, I'm familiar. I think I'm familiar with that name. Lotus Leo. Yeah, I would agree with you. Yeah. They're they're very good players, and like Pat the Flip and Vero both. At least I can speak on them. They're very like they play a ton. And they've been playing a ton ever since online was kind of a like the only way to be playing. And I know that they I mean Pat the Flip is like Mr. Guilty Gear X or Rev 2, basically like promoting the game. So I mean he's obviously been playing and hosting a lot of events and keeping up with it. So yeah, I think those players are probably going to do the best based on like how long they've been playing. But they're probably going to be some dark horses at least. Yeah. Um, looking at the next pool C1. Um, here I see Kizzy, Solstice, uh, I think Vivian. Vivian is a known player. Ah, who? Wait, Swedish Gem? Oh, yeah. Oh, Adventure, the hero, Adventure. Now, I'm not gonna say anything, but if he's playing Axel, let's just hope. I hope his DPRCs are on point. Anyway, I'm not so familiar with both players, so I'd go with your knowledge on this one because you know these players a lot better. I think we could. Hey, go ahead. Other than Kizzy. Oh yeah. I I I believe it. Oh, sorry, go ahead. I believe in adventure though. That's our hero, dude. That dude. Please no. Yeah, see, we'll see too. Oh. Okay, I'm assuming it's taking a minute to load for you, right? Dude, dude, this pool, this pool is ridiculous. Yeah, yeah. Sweet game. Yeah. They're all extremely powerful, like national tier players. Like they're all like well respected, and they still play. Yeah, yeah. We'll see too is the wave. Anyway, but I have a personal thing with this pool as well because why well Zwei I know from Zwei and Devo I know from Cali, as well as Muddy's in this pool too. I was about to say Mudkip, Mudkip, aka Muddy, the hero, the fucking hero. That man, I played so much against that man. Fucking Sin Bedman. That guy is a hero. That guy's awesome. And so everyone from SoCal is in this fucking pool, which is hilarious. Like, there's like 3 SoCal players that are like super duper powerful that are like gonna do well here. I also Swiggin, the fucking Rev Tuesday legend, or not Rev Tuesday, fucking NXV legend, because he plays in those quite often, right? Yeah, and yeah, and and I mean yeah. So all those players are like very fucking good, but then you have Elven Shadow on the fucking top, just like fucking like yeah. Like I think this pool is not. It's not like a death pool. Just every player is like evenly fucking, and they're all crazy, crazy fucking. So I think definitely. Honestly, do you want me to put up the bracket on this? Let me. Oh, well, I can't actually do it with the. So I'd have to get the overlay out. But if you guys do want to take a look at it, I'll post a link in the chat, and we'll put a link in the description. You guys can take a look at the bracket when up. Take a look. So I'm gonna put this in chat, and then yeah, please, if you get the chance, if you're watching this later on, just take a look at the brackets as we're going through. We're gonna announce on the as we. So yeah, brackets. Pool C2 seems kind of fucking ridiculous. But I'm gonna be really hyped watching it just because I'm a SoCal guy, and you know a lot of these players are super. So yeah, D1. Moving on. Yeah. Oh. Ooh. Yeah, and Jostle as well. May I point out, Jostle, legendary, fucking what is it? He's an awesome soul player and really really good at multi blood as well. So he's also done pretty well at like any online tournaments that we've hosted. He kind of pulls up to the. He used to pull up to the Discord a lot more too. And yeah, so a lot of these players here too. Like some of these I know, some of these I don't. You know, I don't know. I kind of feel like Devilaka could beat Hotashi in this one. I don't know. You know, Hotashi's been playing a lot of Strive, so but yeah, I don't know how he's gonna play neutral without a Blizzard. Who the fuck am I talking about? He's playing fucking Elfelt, dude. Yeah. Wait, give me 1 second on the camera. Yeah, like I think it's definitely gonna be. It's gonna come down to like just these like these players like just like there's a lot of really really solid players here, and then there's also players that are just like you know they have a lot of legacy skill. So it's like okay, well like what players are gonna be doing best on the day, and also you have to realize like I mean it's kind of not something that I think people consider as often, but when you're playing like multiple events at a tournament, it's you're not gonna have the same time to like just dedicate to like playing friendly. So like a lot of these players might just be playing Rev 2, and some of these players might be playing like a lot of different games. Like I know for sure Jostle's probably gonna be playing Multi. I know for sure Hotashi's gonna be playing Strive. So that gives these other players a lot of opportunity to try to make upsets, right? Because if they're really fucking hot on that day, you never know, right? Like they could just be doing crazy. So I definitely think I definitely think like this pool will be pretty interesting to watch and stay tuned to. I don't know a lot of the players though. Seems like you do though. Like, cause you're talking about Ryudo, and who is it? Pepsi of Nazareth and Effortless. I've never heard of these guys, but they seem, from what I know, based on like legacy gear knowledge, I think they're pretty solid, right? All right, and then for real, so this is D2, by the way, right? We're talking about D2, right? Yeah. Okay. Dude, I'm looking at this pool. Bro, what the fuck is this pool, dude? Dude, also what's really funny, they put the best biking player, like the best Rev 2 biking player, like historically, against a biking player who has literally been fucking running California for the past like couple like months at the very least. Like how in so Mystic, if you guys don't know, Mystic is like the best biking player like historically. Like he's just a really really good biking player and one of the few really good ones. And Hyper Slice Flare is like right there as well. Like, and he's been doing really really well recently. I've played him a couple times online and awesome. And he's been, they had a whole tournament just dedicated to him because he's been winning Rev Tuesday so often that they had a bounty on him. Yeah, I know. I should have entered. Yeah, it would have been hype though. Would have been fucking hype. If I saw the bounty pull up, the bounty X on a tag with the yellow bedman, goddamn. Hopefully. I mean, even Marlin and Mystic, I'm like, actually no, Marlin and Mystic, yeah, pretty much guaranteed. But like, I still feel like they could even in this pool, you could get fucking upset. Like, I don't see a situation where like I'm not completely discounting the situation where they get like smoked, but I also think like yeah, they're probably also doing. Okay, but then moving on to the other pool, right? Like, so this is definitely the death pool, but oh, is that the last one? Oh, so then we move on to bracket. So do you want to also talk about the bracket prediction? Um, it's maybe just top eight. Like, I kind of just want to see what who's like seeded to get into top eight, and then I mean, Mystic's actually not up here, which is crazy. It's Lost Soul Hotashi, Fu Kizuke, The Arm, and Marlin Pie. Then Elven Shadow and Auto Addict, which is like that's first of all three alpha players top eight, but also it's kind of an interesting top eight because a lot of these people have been playing like they're legacy players, so I think that probably goes a lot into like the actual standings of it because like newer players obviously don't have as much time on the game, and also a lot of people have been grinding online, while these players not as much. I mean, I know Marlin and Kizzy and Fu definitely have been grinding a ton, and Auto Addict as well, but like not as like you know like Elvin Shadow, I don't know if he plays that much Rev 2 online, and same thing with Watashi and stuff, right? Because they've been playing other games, and they have the power. Yeah, for sure. Um, but yeah, like that's it's really I think it's really interesting. As far as like the standings, like what comes out of top eight. But I'm just excited. Like honestly, the pools for this event look pretty fucking hype. As someone who's been like in the scene for a minute, like just a little bit, and I know some of these guys, it seems awesome. So I'm happy people are pulling up for Rev 2, and to quote the buffest man on Twitch, play Rev 2. Yeah, but yeah, I think we're ready. You want to move on? Oh, star brackets? Uh, maybe. I mean, how big are the pools? Me neither. That's the thing. I think honestly, I think that's a little bit out of our comfort zone because me and Bryce here we're mainly connected through Rev 2, and we also I think that's the fighting game we've both played the most, if I'm not mistaken. Right for you as well, right? So I think honestly, like we could do a couple other like events and stuff, but we wouldn't really know too well like what's what. So I think we can definitely leave it off at Rev 2 for today. But yeah, like really hyped to watch the event, and if you guys are interested at all, I know a lot of people aren't super stoked about Rev 2 just in general playing it just because of delay and stuff. But if you guys want to watch it and kind of get an idea of what Legacy Gear is like and what we talk about when we talk about Rev 2 and why we like Rev 2 so much, please stay tuned and have a look at that when it's live. And if I can, I'll either put it up on Twitter or something, or put it up on my. We got the horn. We got the horns and the. It's like the military with the guns, and they just fire in the air. But it's Ares. They're like holding all. They're all holding Ares, and they're just firing into the air. Yeah. I don't know why they did that, but oh, it's not. But yeah, because it. I think competitively it's good because obviously the gun has a niche, and you should be buying it for that niche, right? Like it's fine. But like, yeah. But I think I mean, as people who play this game like for funsies sometimes, and like we're trying to take we play it somewhat seriously, but like like we're trying to win, but it's also just like fun. Holding too long with an Ares. But the patch overall, how do you feel about it? Oh yeah, I remember people talking about that. Oh, for like text chat. Yeah, I think honestly, yeah. If you don't have that, I mean, like we meme about like loving shit talking and stuff like that, but then there's a bar and that or like a line you shouldn't cross that line. And I think honestly, like having that in the game is always more productive, like long term, and just for the health of it. Never helped league though. Sick. Bryce, I can't hear you. Might just be the USB thing. Oh, you got it. You're good. Want to say something?
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Um,
Perfect. All right. But yeah, like I think, like patch wise, like you're talking about the yeah. So text chat being censored for certain like words that obviously shouldn't be said. That's fine. How do you feel like just about the balance as well?
The balance currently, I'm not very good at Valorant. I feel like I shouldn't really comment, but having the Ares be bought on like even when you lose pistol round, that was ridiculous. Okay, like of course it needed a nerf. So
Did they want it
whatever.
to get nerfed? No. Should it have gotten nerfed? Yeah, probably.
But yeah, that's Valorant. It was just a very small patch. I just wanted to make note of it because God
Yeah.
rest her soul.
God, it's our memorial service for the gun of our dreams.
But in more interesting news,
I'd say,
TSM
yeah.
finally enters Dota 2. Finally, after like
This is
12 years or something like that. Finally, they're playing Dota 2.
yeah. I think this is kind of crazy. Honestly, it's crazy to see it happen, but it's also crazy that like it's like just now happening, right? Like
This was
also,
today. This was for everybody in the podcast who's listening. This happened today on the day that we're recording it, which is the 25th. It was just announced like a couple hours ago, actually. So it's pretty interesting. Their team is actually it's a former tier 2 team. This is why it's really good for the scene. It's a former tier 2 NA team known as Undying. And they were doing really, really well in the DPC, which is their league for Dota. And so them finally getting picked up by TSM is huge. Like, one, it brings a lot of money into the scene. Two, makes tier 2s like actually hopeful to get an org for their teams. And then like 3, it makes it so that like this next DPC season is going to be really interesting because you have this new professional org on the block that's going to be coming in. And this also goes into our next news, which is that Valve has finally backpedaled on their major announcement of canceling it, and now they're doing online regionals for each region, which is what should have happened in the first
I think
place.
about the prior point before we move on to Valve. That's incredible news. But just like firstly, yeah, TSM going into Dota, inevitable. Like it's about time. Hell.
Hell
yeah, like it's good that they're finally in the game. And like I also think that yeah, for this team, I remember you talking to me about it actually, about like the Undying doing really well in this past season, and then the major gets canceled, and you're like, wait, what the fuck? How are these guys supposed to like eat, live, right? Because they put all their time into this, and they put their blood, sweat, and tears. And us as competitors, we know like when you do that shit, and you put like all of yourself into something just to be told, yeah, fuck you, like circumstance out of your control, you can't do anything. It's like what the fuck?
And this is at even a larger scale than fighting games, because like some of these players moved from Europe to America to play with their team in like a more local level, and then like they got fucked over.
It's incredibly sad, right? But to see that this org, right, who genuinely deserves it, right? Like they've done their absolute best, right, to be picked up by an organization with a lot of money and a lot of power in terms of esports, right, and have that support, incredible. And I hope down the line for any sort of aspiring Dota organization, if they're doing their best and it's shown that their players are very competitive and just out there grinding as best they can. I hope that other organizations see that and try to invest in. I mean, Dota in general is just an amazing game, and I'm just really happy that like this team who's done their best is like definitely like getting the sort of support that they deserve. But yeah, you were gonna talk about the major. This is also incredibly big news.
Well, it also reminds me of Quincy Crew, which is so the current TSM team that they just signed was the old Undying team, and that has like Moon Meander and a bunch of other guys on it. And what's really interesting is that Quincy Crew is like 6-0 in the current DPC season, and they haven't been signed by a big org. They're still a tier 2 organization, right? So it's like, is C9 going to pop up in the scene? Is that going to happen? Because there's currently no C9 Dota 2 team. Like, is Sentinels going to sign them? Like, what's going on here? Is Gambit going to sign them? Ninjas in Pajamas? Like, what's going on here for Dota 2 teams? And it's just very, very weird news to happen all of a sudden. But yeah, the Dota major is now happening in regionals, which is huge. Basically, each region is just going to play out a small bracket consisting of like the top 6, I believe, and they're going to play it out. And I think this is hype because I was going to be mad disappointed if I didn't get a chance to watch more high level Dota in like a whole like 6 months. Because the last high level Dota we got to watch was the international, and then they were like, yeah, we can't do it, and then we would have to wait until like May for another major event, right? Which would have been disappointing. But now it's going to happen in, I believe, the end of February is going to be the big regionals.
And online isn't preferable, but like honestly, from either online or nothing, and after seeing all the work that these people have put into like compete and do the best that they can in that season, if it's the best that you can do, it's the best that you can do, and you gotta live with it. And I'm really happy that they're even offering the host. Like, it's great.
Yeah, and it's like, I believe it's like 250K per region. So it's like, it's a big enough money for like literally anybody to live off of if you play well in these events. And it's top 6 qualifier, and even if you qualify, you make money. So it's like, this is just a huge fuel for every single scene for all of Dota, and it makes it so that like these players can actually survive and eat and actually feel like their career is a successful one.
Yeah. And we give Valve a lot of shit. I mean, everybody does, but like it's nice to see them actually like putting themselves out there and trying to like make sure that their players are happy and safe and having enough income to live off of, right? I mean, in any competitive ecosystem, that's like one of the most important things. Is like making sure that your players are okay, because without players, you have no tournament. Without players, you have no.
Yep.
So making sure that they're happy and healthy is like important. I'm really happy that they're doing their best, or at least the best they can. But yeah.
But
you know what time it is?
What time is it, Dopio?
Oh wait, did you have anything more to say about Dota?
No, I have nothing else to say.
That's great. You know why? Because it's time for Is This Real?
Oh, is this real? What's real? What's real, Dopio?
Or I mean, we can have a lot of different names. I'm still debating on segment titles. Is it real? Is good. My favorite is Will It Kusoge. I think that's
Kusoge.
Will It Kusoge it's up there. I kind of like that name. For those of you who don't know, me and Bryce specifically was talking about, hey, we should do segments, right? We should have like a little, something, right? Spice up the show. And I was like, this is a good idea, right? And knowing me, right? I'm a degenerate, right? I love trash. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I love Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I love myself. I'm into the worst shit on the planet, right? And so, I, knowing Kusoge and loving Kusoge, thought, maybe, and Bryce recommended the idea, you should do a segment where you tell me a game mechanic, or I don't know, one of us came up with it, but it's just, you should tell me a game mechanic, right? 2 game mechanics, and I gotta tell you which one is actually real from a game, right? Like, it actually exists in a fighting. And so I have 4, 2 different questions to ask, right? In this segment, and you gotta guess, Bryce. The way it works is I'm gonna give you 2 separate game mechanics.
Okay.
And you have to guess, and you can get points for this.
But the points don't matter, of course.
The points don't matter, but it's just about how many you get correct. So the first point you get is if you guess which one is a real mechanic. The second point you get is if you guess which game the mechanic that you think is right is from. So you have to guess twice. Right? This is double. It's not a 50-50. It's a. I didn't give it 2 50-50s at once. All right, so let's see how well we can block this shit. All right.
This is like getting half point on like a test.
Yeah. Well, I can say it's 2 points, but you get extra credit if you guess the game.
Okay.
Right. Because I like you and I want you to pass this class. No.
Yeah, I want you to pass this class.
Yeah. So for our first game, right? For our first Kusoge game mechanic.
Okay.
So 2 rules. First one, the first one is Will It Kusoge. Gun moves do not scale. That is the first mechanic. The second mechanic is that all kick moves scale equal to half of the scaling of the last. Now, firstly, just guess which one is right, and then tell me what game you think it is. And talk to me. Talk me through your reasoning. I need to know about
I'm immediately thinking about like fighting games that have like a lot of like sort of war depiction for some reason. So I'm thinking of like Akatsuki Blitzkampf.
Okay.
Right?
Because of the guns?
Yeah, because of the guns. Right?
Okay.
And because I'm leaning towards the gun mechanic being real. Because that sounds like a real mechanic, right? Like somebody would be like, guys, it's a gun. It's going to do damage, right? It has to do damage. Like, we can't have no
guys, this shit shouldn't scale. It's a gun.
Yeah, it's a gun. Because, like, who the fuck is trying to do equations while they're pressing a kick more normal? Okay?
Well, I never said how like surface level or deep the system mechanics had to be. I'm just telling you these are system mechanics that exist, right? Or may not exist, right? And I mean, it's gotta be the Kuso game.
Okay,
so, you know.
but so I'm leaning towards the guns, okay? So
You're
I'm thinking of Akatsuki Blitzkampf, and I'm also thinking of Nitro Plus Blasters, because that has like a lot of like anime girls with guns in it.
Fair.
But I don't know which one to decide. It could be like MVC2 BB Hood. It could be like Darkstalker's BB Hood because she has like a lot of guns.
You think I would stoop so low as to call MVC2 a Kusoge? You think I'm that terrible?
I'm just
thinking
of old
but like
games. I'm just thinking of old ass games. Okay.
Fair.
I'm gonna say, I want to say it's the gun mechanic is the real mechanic.
The gun mechanic's the real mechanic. All right.
Yeah.
And then what game do you think it's from?
I think it's from Darkstalkers.
Darkstalker. You think it's BB Hood?
Yeah, I think it's BB Hood. I legitimately think it's BB Hood.
Okay. Well, good shit, right? You identified the Kusoge mechanic. It is the guns. Guns do not scale.
It makes so much sense that a developer would be like, "Yo, this is a gun. We gotta make it 2 damage."
Fair, but I'm very disappointed in you. You failed to identify the greatest, not just the fighting game that we named here, but the greatest fighting game of the modern era. The game that's gonna save the
FGC. This game? What is this game?
You know how Persona 5 invented RPGs? This game invented fighting.
No!
It's Among Us Arena.
Oh my god! It's Among Us.
The most popular fighting game in the genre
Arena.
Right
It's Among Us. Oh.
What are you doing? Like, come on, son.
I'm such an imposter. I'm such an imposter.
I thought you were better than this about it. I guess you are an imposter. Dude.
I'm such a fucking imposter.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Let's get on Among Us Arena.
I didn't know that. That's actually so funny that the developer, he definitely was like, it's a gun, it has to do damage.
Yeah, I was aware of it actually before I looked it up because I've seen combos and I'm like, why do these moves not fucking? It looks like when Spencer does the hook and it doesn't scale. Mm-hmm. It looked like the same shit. I'm like, wait, do these not scale? Yeah, gun moves do not scale in Among Us. So you get your point, but you missed the extra credit opportunity. That's fine. Moving on to the second one. Now, the first one,
that was easy. Sure. It was easy. Easy mode.
Right? But I got to warm you up into it. This shit. All right. So the first mechanic.
Okay.
When you get anti-air, the following combo puts you in grounded hit stun, aka aerial hit stun does not exist. The second mechanic is that you can walk through your opponent, aka the enemy gamer does not have collision. You can just walk through him.
Oh shit.
Now, for reference, you can do the second mechanic. It is in certain Smash games. This is not a Smash game.
Oh, okay. Oh my god, why did you...
If you have questions about either of the mechanics, you can ask me to clarify. I will clarify. But not like... It can't be super detailed, but like, I feel like I was pretty clear here. Like, what that means. Like...
You can just walk. Like, there's no roll command. There's no nothing like that.
Just walk through.
Oh my god. This one is tough.
I know. This one I was like, the first one is like, it's kind of obvious, but like, it's not obvious, but like, it's kind of like, you can intuit
follow,
that kind of.
yeah,
this shit is, I went hard, dude.
If I'm leaning towards the walking through one, because this just sounds so ridiculous that it's like, why wouldn't I bring this up in a podcast?
What do you mean? Like the walkthrough is so ridiculous?
Like, I feel like you'd be like, oh shit, this is so funny. But
do you have any idea what no aerial hit stun means?
I do know what that means. I know exactly.
And you can show you get hit standing. That's actually incredible. If I do bad 6P, he lands on the ground, I hit a close slash, I get a full. Think about it.
I'm gonna go with I want to do aerial
He's the,
hit stun. I want to go with aerial hit
are
stun.
you sure?
Okay.
Walk me through your reasoning. Walk me through your reasoning.
Okay. Like, I'm going with aerial hit stun because I think I could guess what game it's from.
Whoa.
That's the reason why. I think
Okay,
I could.
okay.
I could guess. Okay.
So aerial hits the final answer. Now, what game do you think?
I think it's from Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax.
You've played the Dengeki fighting.
Yeah, I have.
Does that mechanic exist in the Dengeki?
I feel like it doesn't, but I hate French bread games, and I might not have been paying attention. And it seems like that type. Wait. Can I change my game answer?
Sure.
Yeah. It's Million Arthur Arcana Blood.
That's so fucked up. Okay, for context, everybody in chat, I love talking about how amazing Million Arthur Arcana Blood is, and this.
No. I changed my answer again. Kohime Embu. Done. Final answer. I'm pressing the final answer. Kohime Embu.
Right. Why Kohime Embu? Why Kohime Embu?
Rio Rai, to be specific.
Yeah.
Because that game is a footsies-based fighter, and it really wants you to play grounded, and it wants you to play so grounded that even when you get an anti-air, you're doing the same grounded combo to make the game easier. I know the answer. That's my final answer.
Okay, yeah. Kohime Embu, anti-air aerial hit stun. No, none of those are correct. The correct answer is you can walk through your opponent. Bryce, I've never played a fucking fighting game where you hit someone in the air and they teleport to the ground. What fucking fighting game? I mean, that exists probably, but like, no. Do you know what game?
What game is it?
You're never gonna guess that. It's Ultra Fight the Kyanta 2. You cut out again. Oh man. You gotta mess with the USB, dude. I can't hear your sound. Oh man. Even your microphone was like, fuck this shit, dude. I'm out. Fuck. This man pulling up the Kyanta
I
notes.
I could have done it. It was on the Steam front page.
It was. It's literally the first thing that not the tutorial, but like there's like the Mizumi wiki of the Kyanta tells you this shit like changed my fucking life. When I found that I can walk through people in the Kyanta, I'm like, what?
It changed your life?
I was like, how do you fucking what? Like what fighting game is this? You can make cross-ups in the corner by just walking through them and then jumping. You can walk through them on Oki. You knock them down and you just walk through them and jump.
See, so my original analysis was correct. We're like, this is just something funny to bring up on a podcast.
No, yeah, free. No, this shit's ridiculous. You were right. I just hard baited you. You can't trust the Proctor in this situation, dude. I'm trying to feel it.
Legitimately, I was not going to guess on the walking through mechanic because I don't know any fighting games that would like want something like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I went for the bonus points on the other one.
Yeah, I also when I asked it, I realized, wait, fuck, that's a mechanic in like every Smash game before Ultimate. Because you can run through people. But I'm like, oh, it's not a flat fighter. If it is, if there are any games that I like that have multiple mechanics that I know of, I will tell you that it's not that mechanic. Like I'm not talking about Smash or something. But yeah, no, it's you can't walk through Ultra Fight the Count. That's pretty much the whole. But yeah, it's kind of it's really fun, really fun, the game, and it's been on a ton of Will It Kill. So yeah, Will It Kusoge, episode 1, or I guess segment 1. Right?
Segment 1.
That is the conclusion. Those are the segments I had for today. Bryce, what we've learned today is you gotta lab more Among Us Arena. All right, and
For
you gotta
real.
put up the Kanta at some point. All right, I don't know what you're doing out here, and you gotta fucking replay the Genki Bunko fighting. Bro, I thought you were a fucking Genki Bunko player at some point. Or like,
no, I wasn't. I actually hate that game because they designed it to not have anti-airs.
Have you ever played? Haven't you played Kohima though?
I do like Kohime, and the thing is, the last time I played it was like 5 years ago.
Oh, fair.
Yeah, so it's like, of course I like
They have
forgot.
a new
But
version too, so it's like probably something that might exist.
no, it was the newest version.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You just thought like maybe it's a mechanic that you just didn't know of. I try to make it system mechanics in this version. I might make it like character things like in later.
The first one, when I was guessing the gun mechanic, I thought it was a character mechanic.
Yeah, you'd
Yeah.
imagine it's a character mechanic, right? But like I made sure that these were all system mechanics, but like some of them are like getting anti-art and stuff. That might be something that's a character specific thing pull you or some shit, right? Yeah, but that is the end of this segment of our show. I think we'll probably continue doing this down the line. I think it was pretty fun.
Yeah, I had fun. I had fun for sure.
Yeah, I think you might have some fun ones that you could come up with because you have a lot more. You beat me in experience, but I beat you in fucking stupid fucking dumbass Mizumi Wiki bullshit knowledge.
You're willing to torture yourself.
Fuck, he's right. But yeah, I think this will be really fun. So we might stay tuned for more of those down the line. And I know there's something you wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah, Hori came out with a new fight stick. It's a pretty interesting like gamepad fight stick thing. It's very strange to look at if you look at it.
Huh.
It reminds me of the old like Comba sticks, or the old what's it called? The Mad Catz tournament editions.
You mean the stick, right?
Yeah, the stick. Yeah.
Kind of.
So, and that's for PS5. This is the main reason why I wanted to bring it up, is because it's for PS5. Because like the PS5 has been out for like a year and a half now, and we still haven't gotten next generation like fight sticks yet. And I've been waiting to buy a new fight stick for the next generation of fight sticks, right?
Yeah.
And so it's pretty interesting to see this one. I don't really like Hori fight sticks all that much, but this one's looking okay. Like it looks like mid-range price, probably like $150 to $200. Probably closer to the 150 range, but yeah.
Honestly, the stick seems pretty stock standard, but the pad actually looks quite interesting. It looks very similar to like the old like 360 Xbox pads, like the old like the ones for Street Fighter 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean those were designed by Hori as well, so it kind of tracks. But like it looks really good, and I don't think there's been one made in recent memory for like newer consoles, right?
There hasn't been.
So this is kind of cool. Like I'm happy they're releasing an updated version of that. The stick, yeah, like I said, it looks pretty stock standard, and I as well, I'm not a big fan of Hori sticks. The only Hori stick I like is the you know the Vuelix, like the Rap 4, but the Vuelix where it's like
yes, yeah. I've used one of those at Shin Kenso's house. He let me borrow it. It was very nice because the lever was really clean.
Yeah, like those sticks are really nice because they're like I like really heavy sticks and I also like really big sticks. And also when I go to the arcade in Burbank in Southern California, there's in round one, there's like all of their Japanese cabs have like Vuelix, right? Like all the newer Japanese. So like Street Fighter 4 and like Persona and all that shit, they all have Vuelix sticks. So it's like the Vuelix style sticks and buttons logo. So it's awesome, and I have a big soft spot for those sticks. It's just I think Hori sticks and buttons aren't really that good, right? Like the stock Hori.
Yeah. The buttons are like, you know how when you press a Sanwa, it like bounces. You know, when you press it. The Hori buttons are squishy. Yeah, I know it sounds weird. Like you press it down and it doesn't like slowly rise. It rises instantly. But you know how like when you press a Sanwa, it's like instant.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's like boom.
With the Hori, it's like you don't hear the snap at all when you press it. Right? You just press it.
Like kind of like silent, like suppress the button.
Yes, and then like the Sanwas are like, you know, like nice and like sheen.
Yeah.
You know, like they're nice to put your finger on.
Yeah, because they're like they're nice and glossy.
Yeah. The matte, the Horis are matte, so they're like they kind of have like a texture on them.
Yeah, like even for me, like on the machine behind me, right? Like I put
those
sticking buttons on that because I like Sama sticking buttons. They're cool. But even for my personal stick, I use I have fucking crowns, and I put Cherry MX blues in them. That's how like I like them. So those, I think they're called Hayabusas, right? The buttons, Hori Hayabusa.
The ones with the like mechanical keys.
No, the ones on the Hori stick.
Oh, I think they're called they're called Hayabusas. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like.
Yeah, I hate them too. Like I don't hate the Hori sticks themselves. It's just the buttons are just like always just don't feel good to me. And like I talk to people and some people prefer them, and I'm like, you a monster? What are you?
It's like that. You know that scene in the Korea gaming video about sticks, where he's like, if you want to freak someone out, just give them a lever they've never used, and it's like it's Jennifer Aniston getting a Korean lever, just throw it in my mouth a little bit. when you're like force samba player, like all fucking worry button, like just, right? No, I mean honestly, I can understand like people get used to like the craziest. I actually prefer playing on like weirdest stuff. Like I know there are people in Street Fighter 4 era that played on like stock 360 controllers, and I'm like, they play Marvel on stock 360. Like, what are you doing? That's ridiculous. I mean, they did it and they still fucking play it, and a lot of those people did like. I mean, some of those people did pretty well, but Jesus Christ, like
that's what happens when you play a Taskmaster, Hawkeye, Wolverine.
How do you even move? How do you blink on that? I guess you have triggers, but like, dude, that would be brutal. I'm personally like, because when I got into games, the big thing was like, oh, you don't need to buy a stick, right? But I love arcade stick culture and like the whole stuff around arcade sticks. Like, it's so dope. And if you're like really into the genre and like that part of it appeals to you, it actually makes you want to play the games more, which is crazy. Like when I bought my stick, I had not played that. I played like maybe 100, 200 hours of DBFZ, but then I got my stick and I put like a ton of fucking, like a ridiculous amount. Like I'd wake up early morning before school and just put a ton of hours in the DBFZ when I could, because I like playing on the stick. It was fun. And
well, I like it for a different reason, which is that it's like similar to building my PC. You know, True. Like it's the same as like you maintain your stick and stuff like that. But you played a lot, right, with your stick, right?
Yeah. Clip. Like, let's go, dude. Oh man, yo, caught in 4K. But yeah, no, I do use my fight stick a lot. Like, yeah, you're right. Like doing constant maintenance and like making sure it's clean and making sure it's like all put together well. It's awesome. And doing custom stuff on it. Like I have my stick cut like kind of blinged out, and I'm like, it's like this really fulfilling thing of like, oh shit, like I put all this time into it, and I got to choose the buttons, choose the parts, and choose the design on it. It's like really dope.
Yeah. But anyway, that's really all I wanted to talk about with the Hori Fight Stick. But let's just move on to your topic, which is preparing for tournaments, which is something that I have a lot of knowledge about. Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you want to know, Doppio?
Well, it's not more what I want to know. I just kind of wanted to discuss, because we were talking a lot about. So we spent a little bit talking about Master Duel, and we spent a little bit talking about Dota and Frosty Faustings, and we mentioned it a little bit throughout the. But I think like what's interesting is like your perspective as like a fighting game player, and you have a lot more experience just competing. And then me from like coming from Yu-Gi-Oh and like a bunch of other games, right? Like I think competing is like this really interesting thing to both of us, and it's like also something that's really integral. I mean, I don't know, maybe I don't mean to speak for you, but at least to me, it's like a super integral like part of like what I do, and something that's like really fulfilling to me. So I think it's really interesting like how different people prepare for events. And coming into Frosty Faustings, right, a lot of these people that are playing in Rev 2 specifically are like people who maybe haven't even played an in-person event for Rev 2. Like I know Brendan hasn't, I know like Simo and stuff like that. Like some of those people are from SoCal, and they're mainly online like online like pop monsters, right? And they're good, but it's a whole different experience. Like you getting on like even if you're just going to your local, but like getting on a plane, flying to a a state or country you've never been to, and trying to play a game, and it's like, okay, well, I got two things, 2 times I can lose. If I lose twice, I'm out. It's like fuck. You're in that moment. It's like this very stressful thing, but it's also really fun, and a lot of people get a lot of enjoyment out of it. I know I do. And I just kind of wanted to talk to you about like, what do you sort of think goes into prepping for these events? Into like, like maybe for you specifically, like what went into your preparation for like bigger national events? Because I know you spent a lot of time doing it. And then
When I was prepping for stuff, like a lot of people will like look at their bracket and like maybe they'll theory craft like specific like counter strategies for like specific characters, right? And like I never approached it that way. It was more so like I always approached like things that were core to like my problems in my gameplay, and then like ways I can problem solve all matchups, right? Because the way I went about it was that like when you enter a bracket, you don't know. Typically, you don't know about half the names on a bracket, right? Like we did today when we did the bracket preview, we didn't know about half the names, right?
yeah,
So the best way to prepare is to just make sure that you are overall the best you can be, right? So what I would do is that during preparing, like especially when I was really grinding, I would have these monthly notes, and Google has a really great app for this, by the way, for people in chat that are say preparing for tournament. I highly recommend doing this. They have these notes called Keep, and Keep is a note keeper that you can organize separate notes, and it will give you reminders like once a week or every day or something like that to fill it out, right? And what I did is I set mine to once a week, and I would have multiple sections on it, right? One section, the first section would be the best things about my play. And typically that would be my aggression, my ability to make good callouts, and then 3, my ability to make good decisions in neutral. Okay? And then I would put bad things. And then I would say, like, I try to force things too much on defense. And then I would put things like I am unknowledgeable in X thing or something like that. And I'm not good enough at air throwing, or I'm not good enough at dealing with X projectile, right? And then I would have matchups. And then in this section, I would put things that I've learned and things that I need to study. Okay? And I would do this, I would fill this out like every week, right? And what this did is that it created a clear mindset in my head of what specifically do I, as a player, need to work on when I'm practicing, right? And it makes it so that your practice is more effective because you're not just grinding the game, right? Like, and grinding is good generally if you're just thinking about your gameplay, but if you have a goal in mind, it makes it even better. Okay? And I did this for about like 3 months, 4 or 5 months before leading up to Texas Showdown, which was my best showing. And it's really important to do these things because what's it called? I really want to stress about being overall strong and not like spiking your effectiveness by like just studying specific matchups, because I went to the same tournament and I played multiple matchups and I played very well in each matchup. And I don't want to call him out or anything or hate on him, but like he went on but Strawberry, a local player of mine, he went to the same tournament and he went out against a player. And he said that after the tournament, he didn't have the matchup knowledge. And I told him, well, that's just how brackets go. It's random who your opponent is practically. And it's I don't want to say it's luck, but it sort of is luck based on who you get, right? And then he got very frustrated at me for making a statement like that. But like what I mean is that like you want to be prepared for that situation where you're playing a matchup you don't know about, right? So it's like Strawberry could have like studied before the tournament, like even though he doesn't know the matchup, he could have like tried or to study or something like that. No, he lost to a Ram player. Actually, I'm sorry, he lost to a Ram player, and he could have like reached out to people and tried to study or something like that, but that didn't happen. So the point is that like you want to be very overall strong and make sure that you are covering your own gaps, because covering your own gaps will always make you a better player than you were before and make it so that you can excel in those stressful situations in tournament. Because then when you come up against that niche Deadman player that comes out of nowhere, you know that you need to JP anti-air him to force him out of try jumps.
It's funny because we're both also Batman players. It's like we're both the fucking niche weirdos that play like the one character bracket you never fucking see. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I just bring that up because it's like back in the day, Bedman was the bracket boogeyman because nobody played him and he was very good in the game. So it's like if you didn't know the Bedman matchup, you just got screwed over. So it's like just make sure that you are covering your own gaps and not necessarily like just trying to create like specific setups for each character. You know.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with that in a lot of ways because if like maybe in different games it changes, right? Like in Strive, I see a lot of content, or at least my favorite content creator for the game, Lord Knight. He makes a lot of content focused on, hey, this is how you deal with these things, right? These certain aspects of how do you deal with characters like Zato who are very technical and have a lot of aspects. How do you deal with like characters like Ino or characters that like might have like set play or might have a lot of like powerful offense. But I think as a player, right, if you try to like sculpt your game plan around like, hey, this is what I'm good at, this is what I'm bad at, this is what I need to improve at as a player overall, right? It'll also improve your propensity to improve at other matchups because you're learning how to learn and you're learning how to like interact with the game on like a personal. And so when you have to fight that matchup in tournament, you'll also be more prepared to just play anything, and you'll be able to adapt a lot better to like whenever you have to fight a matchup that you don't. And especially in games like Ultimate, for example, like Smash Ultimate, right? There's 52 fucking characters in that. Like, I don't think anybody expect, unless you're like, the tippity top. I don't think you can really be, and even those players, it's like you can't really reasonably expect them to know everything about every single character in the game. It's just not, it's not feasible at that point, right? Because there's a ton of different stuff that goes into that. So I think fundamentally trying to like focus on yourself and focus on like what am I good at and what are my flaws. It does like long term like help you out a lot more. And like full disclosure, Bonnie is a good friend of mine, but also like he did coach me through a lot of the stuff, and so like I do attribute a lot of my skill in to him as a coach. So like we're gonna probably agree on a lot of this stuff, but yeah, I think it is even in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like aside from
I was
like
literally about to bring up Yu-Gi-Oh because it's like you talk about like the card staples in Yu-Gi-Oh, and that's kind of like working on your own strengths for your deck. Is like those card staples create those strengths in your deck and create that type of mind game. You know.
sort of. I mean, I think of it more like when you go to locals, right? A lot of players actually neglect locals and they don't go to locals very often. For various reasons, right? But like one of the main ones is like, oh, the people at my locals play rogue, or they don't play like the most competitive decks, or they don't play the most like staple side cards, right? And it's like, yeah, that's great, right? But if you're someone who maybe doesn't play as much, or like needs the actual technical game knowledge, like this is something that I found a flaw in my, right? Like I could sit here and I could theory for hours about, oh, against this matchup I need to side this, and against that matchup I need to side that, right? But I've gone to events with what I felt like was the best deck I could build at the time, and I've completely fucked it, right? Or I've lost in the bubble, right? And I'm like, why did I lose? And then I think about it, I'm like, I fucked this up, right? Like my technical play was not there, right? And I realized in that moment, like, I need to play more of this game. I went on Dueling Book, right, at the time, and I just played, 5 hours a day, or like 4 hours a day, or 2 hours, however much time I had, I would just sit there and grind the game because you just need to play it. And you need to, and like you said before, like sometimes you need to play the game, but going in there with a goal, like I'm going to make sure that I know what to do in this situation. I'm going to think it through in this moment where I don't have a timer on my ass or anything like that, especially in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm going to try to figure it out. And I'm going to sculpt my game plan and figure out these like tiny situations, right? Against every deck, against like how to play my deck. I'm going to figure out how to fundamentally use all of the tools I have at my disposal. And then I'm going to improve that, right? And I did. And a lot of that came down to like just me playing a lot of games and improving my own skill with my own deck rather than focusing on all of the other matchups. Because then once I have that technical skill, I can then apply that to anybody I, right? And then it also helps me learn those like specific matchups against the best meta decks, right? So go to your locals.
Go to your locals. Ask questions. Write things down. Make goals. One of my favorite pins in the Guilty Gear Discord is what's it called? Is setting up and making goals this set play everyone keeps talking about.
Such a good fucking.
I'm always like, yes, that is the set play.
It's kind of hype. I think a lot of the culture around like fighting it as well is like really good at prepping you to like improve at. Oh, did I explode? Oh, I didn't know.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I was like, my camera froze on my screen. But yeah, like it's really nice because a lot of that stuff also like goes cross boundary. Like I know I asked you at one point because I was prepping for a Yu-Gi-Oh event online. I was like, what do you eat / drink when you like play a competitive game, right? And it's like the small stuff. It's like, oh, like you told me I think it was like orange juice, right?
Yeah, orange juice. It's really good for you.
Yeah, and that event I actually got I bought a couple cans of pineapple juice, like and some orange juice as well, right? Like 2 cans of orange, 2 cans of pineapple, and I had one in one. And yeah, like I actually did really well in that event. And I was like, holy shit, like it actually helped because what normally where I'd be like fifth round, sixth round, I'd be like fucking fading. I was like able to drink something small, get my energy back up, and I was able to consistently play through even later into the event. So yeah, like honestly, even the small stuff is like really important. Like if you want to like comment on like what would you do specifically? Like let's say like a couple days before an event.
Couple days?
Yeah, like let's say or a couple days, couple weeks. Like when you have an event coming up, is there anything specific that you do to like change? Because obviously, like focusing on your own gameplay and stuff.
This is gonna sound really
like,
weird.
Yeah, what's up?
This is gonna sound really weird. I actually don't play. Now the reason being is that if you played recently before an event, especially in fighting games, because fighting games are matchup based. Because fighting games are matchup based, they can be like sort of like weirdly condition you to do specific things that are good in neutral. So it's like if you don't play for a couple days, when you play the game again, your mind is fresh on the game, right?
Huh. Yeah.
So it's like you can approach the matchup the way it's meant to be approached. Not to say that like playing the game before an event is bad. It's just that like this is just a personal thing for me. Because like I'm a very like I want to think through situations. Like my problem solving is probably like my best feature for fighting games. So it's like for me to go into a situation where my problem solving is at maximum. That's the biggest thing for me.
Do you just like cold turkey on the game? Like if you have like let's say
like if it's a monthly that I'm preparing for, I'll typically play like casuals at the event, and then like just to get back used to PS4 like delay, you know. But if it's like a major, I'm typically not gonna play for like a good day and a half before the event. Like I'm not completely ditching the game. It's just that like I want to make sure that my head is in the right space. You know?
Yeah.
But I of course when I get to the venue like the major, I play casuals before the tournament. You know.
Yeah. Would you play like I assume like during those days would you try to play training mode or would you just not like?
I don't like training mode. I don't lab. Well, I do lab like defense and offense. I just don't like doing like very niche like setups. The thing about my bedman is that like I like to keep it as like standard as possible because that's the stuff that works, right? There's no point in trying to be flashy with it, you know. If you want to win, you got to do the easy stuff, you know.
I don't know, man. Tasby RRC kind of crazy.
but it's like if I'm trying to learn a new technique of some kind, I did that a month before the event, typically.
Yeah. I can definitely relate in like the not playing because I remember you told me that actually for an event and I tried it and it actually does help because when you're like playing the game for a while or you're like especially before if you're like trying to grind against one dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like perfect example, I played against Muddy like the day before Rough Tuesday. Like I played him maybe like 3-4 hours, right?
Yeah.
And then the day when it rocks, I'm playing against fucking I don't know some character where like I'm not supposed to be throwing task or I'm not supposed to be task. Like my neutral was built around the way I was playing against Muddy at the end of the event, or at the end of
what I mean. That's right? Exactly what I mean.
Yeah, and then at that point I'm like, wait, fuck! Like my hands are doing this shit that I'm like, I should be thinking through this. I should be playing the neutral, right? And eventually I kind of got a hold of it, but it was really hard those first couple games to like readjust. Whereas if I hadn't maybe done that, right? If I'd played like 1 or 2 games or like just gone to the training mode and just done like like my normal combos, like just practiced everything that I normally would do in a tournament, and just kept my hands fresh, that would have been fine because I wouldn't have had that build up in my head of oh I have to do this, right? So I can definitely relate to like, on a pretty like on kind of the same level. I think for Yu-Gi-Oh, maybe just to like kind of connect it, like for days before events, at least the morning of. I don't know if this is the same for you, but the morning of, I would always wake up really early, like before all my alarms, which is really crazy. Like if I'm like super excited, like for an event or something, I just always wake up early, and then
I'm the opposite. I sleep in.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, that must suck though.
No, I don't give a shit. I'm like, oh, I missed it. Well, who cares? It was a monthly. Yeah.
Oh, fuck it, dude. But yeah, like I like wake up early. I like get all my stuff done. I even have time sometimes to like just mess around and like play games like before I have to drive, or like my mom gives me a ride, or I get an Uber or something to the event. And like I would also like make like a big breakfast, right? Because at those events, often you don't get like, and this is the same with fighting game wherever you go. Food at the venue is like fucking pricey as shit, and you don't want to have to pay for that, right? So you always eat a big breakfast, right? Not something super heavy, but something just good, right? Like eggs, toast, that kind of thing, and then get some water with you. You're gonna need that, and then go to the event. And ideally, in Yu-Gi-Oh events, prior I wouldn't take snacks. Fucking stupid. Take snacks, take Cliff Bars or just like good healthy bananas. But and then at the end, this is my favorite part. Whenever we go to a Yu-Gi-Oh event, at the end, everyone would be like, okay, so you guys all went X3? Yeah. I'll get Korean barbecue. And I'm just gonna get Korean barbecue and like eat like a fuck ton, because we'd be starving. Like starving. We'd eat a ton and we'd be happy. But those, like, there's like those little rituals that always happen at those events, right? Where it's like, kind of need that to kind of keep yourself going, and it just keeps you in the zone. Even if it's not necessarily like science, or it's not like specifically like, oh, this is like empirically gonna always fucking work. It's just for different people it works different.
One of my favorite posts about preparing for tournaments was written by Hugo Gonzalez, aka Hugs, and he talks about how he dresses for tournaments. It might sound this is really weird to talk about, but like he likes to dress like as if it's the laziest, most comfortable day he's been, right? So he'll dress in like his pajamas, like his pajama bottoms, and then like a t-shirt, and then he'll go to an event and just play it, right? and I started adopting that too. I was like, hell yeah, I'm just wearing my hoodie, I'm just wearing my sweatpants. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, and it's like, it actually helps because like when you sit down and shit, you're just like mad comfortable.
Yeah.
You're just okay. You're just like, hey, I've got a game to play.
Yeah. I mean, for Yu-Gi-Oh, I always have this one shirt I always wear. The first shirt I ever wore to a local was this Kirby shirt. I have, it's not the exact one because it ripped and I bought a new one. Just because I like that shirt so much. It's a Kirby shirt with like all the different hats that he wears when he gets the powers. And whenever it's a big event day, I wear that shirt. I don't know why. I don't know if it's like it just feels right. Like when I don't wear that shirt, it feels wrong if I go to an event. So before an event, I'll always make sure that shirt's good, and that I have either like, depending on the season, like shorts are good, but shorts, the venues get kind of cold. Sweatpants are always like, and like a nice, not a warm hoodie, but like a comfortable, like a really comfortable is like, I think, a necessity for, I think, any event you go to. But again, I mean, it depends on the person. Like, I don't think I would ever wear pajama pants to an event. I'm not trying to get roasted, but
dude, I did that once. I was wearing like a nice hoodie and then like some like regular pants, and I wore sandals too, right? And then I walked in, and one of my friends, Oso, he was like, "Hey man, I like your fit." And then he looked down, he saw my shoes, and he was like, "Never mind."
Yo, this man oh fuck. Fuck.
He literally was straight with me. He was like, "I like it." Wait, no. He literally told me.
He's like, "Damn!" And then he looks at your face.
He literally looked at me and was like, "You almost had it, Bounty. You almost had the fit, dog. You almost had it."
Oh, that's OD. That's actually OD. Like you almost had it, dude. Fuck.
Just also one of my favorite.
Were they comfortable sandals?
Yeah, they were like Jesus sandals. That's what my roommate used to call them. That's why.
Were they actually like? Were they like? It's like a piece of leather with like bound with some shit. You have them?
I have them like. Oh no, they're in like the corner of my room. Yeah, they're basically like leather and then leather on top, and then there's like 2 leather straps.
Oh shit. Oh yeah, the actual Jesus sandals. That's pretty OD
Yeah.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're mad comfortable. So
I always wear. Also, wherever I go, I always wear the same person. So like, I always feel comfortable. I don't. But
but
yeah,
yeah, I guess that's all of our topics today.
yeah. I mean, honestly, I think today we had a really good. Oh, we have 7 viewers today. Well, everyone in chat, thank you guys for pulling through. Whoever you are, like wherever you are, wherever you're watching this from. Thank you guys for being in here. Thank you for the couple people that were in chat. It was good to see you guys. And thanks for sticking tuned with us. I know you guys probably see we got a new thing around us right now. That was designed for us by Theo Frascus 1. He's in chat right now actually.
Yeah, shout out to him.
Yeah, big ups to him. If you guys need any work done or anything like that, I don't know if he's taking commissions, but if he ever is, we'll let you guys know on Twitter or otherwise. He's an incredible graphic designer and like just a really cool guy. Like really,
you could
really
say
awesome.
it's his passion.
Oh, and yeah, thank you to Bash as well. Thank you to all the people from Rev2 and our friends from that community. It's awesome, and it's good to see everybody out here. It's just awesome. We enjoy doing it. So we'll be here next week, same time, same place. Hopefully,
well, not necessarily same time, but same day.
Same day. Yeah, definitely on Tuesdays. Times kind of changed, but I'll obviously post it on Twitter and have it up. Otherwise, and you guys will definitely see it. So, yeah. Other than that, this has been the Frame Trap Podcast. I've been Dopio,
and I've been Bounty.
Yeah, and we're signing off for today. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day.